Nominated alongside Galway singer-songwriter Dove Ellis, Ray and Olivia Dean. And that's your news for now.
News Talk Weather.
With BlackRock Health, consultant-led private healthcare ensuring expert treatment at BlackRock, Galway and Hermitage Clinics. BlackRockHealth.com.
Tonight will be dry for many with clear spells. Lowest temperatures of 7 to 10 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
The News Round on Off the Ball. This is News Talk.
Good evening and welcome along to Thursday night's Off the Ball. Coming up tonight, we're going to be speaking to Tariq Panja and Gavin Cooney from around 7:25. UEFA with a big statement today suggesting that they are going to boycott the next World Cup unless FIFA back off with their privatisation plans. Of course, the next World Cup is next year in Brazil, and the Ireland women's national team are headed for it if they can win their playoff later on this year. So maybe we'll be hoping for this whole thing to be resolved before October. Between 8 and 9, we've got Willie Ward and Ciara Trant with us to look ahead to the Women's All-Ireland finals this weekend. Kerry against Galway in the senior final on Sunday afternoon. And then between 9 and 10, we've got Ian O'Riordan joining us to talk about Kate O'Connor winning yet another gold medal, this time with the Commonwealth Games, and also looking ahead to the European Athletics Championships, because just this evening the squad has been confirmed for Ireland's athletes heading to Birmingham in the next couple of weeks. And we're also going to be speaking to Sean McCormick from the Newcastle Chronicle after Eddie Howe confirmed his departure from Newcastle United a little earlier on today. So a busy show. Our number is 087 918 180. We have Eve and Arthur here in studio with me. A very good evening to you both, folks. We'll touch on UEFA in just a moment, because that is obviously your lead story. Just want to mention the Ian O'Riordan piece, because it's a couple of hours before we're going to have him on. This is just perfect timing for there to be a European Championships. The void of August is going to be filled perfectly by a sport that has come right back into view, that we're all properly on the bandwagon of and all fully in support of at this stage. That when the email comes in and you look at the Irish Athletic squad that's announced today, you're actually kind of perusing it, thinking to yourself, geez, there's a lot to look at when it comes to Birmingham this year. So they start next Monday week, and the full squad, as I say, was announced earlier on. The more you kind of look into some of the qualifying for it, the more kind of dramatic some of these storylines get. Like there's, some question marks around Charlene Maudley's fitness, for example, at the moment. There was Rashida Adeleke's qualification last Saturday in Santry, where she just about snuck in the 200-metre qualifying time. Is that going to be potentially the start of a fairy tale story where she does something special in the 200 metres? But devastatingly, and this is only something that I've just realised while looking through the squad, there's no mixed 4x400 metre relay team, which is our national sport now when it comes to athletics. We won gold in mixed 4x400 relay running in Rome 2 years ago. We're not going to have that this year, so I hope that doesn't burst the bubble of anybody who's going to be watching this championship.
I mean, you're being a bit glib. I was looking forward to it.
Let's get Eve's mic on there.
Yeah, just to say that I was really looking forward to the 4x100 metres.
Yeah, a medal opportunity. We've got a few retired people, obviously, who've contributed to that run in Rome a couple of years ago, which was an all-timer. That like set the scene for the Paris Games later on that summer. Like I remember watching that meet on television, obviously, and like seeing Ciara McGeehan win gold, for example, was just such an amazing moment. Seeing that gold medal in the mixed relay, seeing Rashida win silver. That's when I was like, okay, I'm booking flights to Paris right now. I'm going to this Olympic Games.
Well, it is wonderful that, as you said, you're looking through the list of confirmed athletes, and not only are they all kind of now national recognisable figures, but you have been watching these storylines develop for the past few years. And as you were saying, it seems to have been a very dramatic year for quite a lot of them. I mean, even Rashida Adeleke qualifying for the 200 metres wouldn't be what we initially thought she was going to qualify for. She was obviously looking in the run-up to qualify for the 400. So even her being here, being in Birmingham at all, is such a remarkable thing anyway that I'm really looking forward to see. And of course, Kate O'Connor is probably who I'm most excited to watch as probably one of the most in-form heptathletes. Is that what we're calling them? In the world.
Yes.
And I adore watching her. And I mean, I don't know if you were watching much of the Commonwealth Games, but by the time her final event was on yesterday, which was the 800 metres final, she could have finished 18 seconds behind whoever was in second place, and she still would have won the gold medal. That's how commanding a victory she had.
It's wonderful. It's and it's funny you mentioned as well the Ciara McGeehan one, and obviously that's before what we know has become obviously a very difficult period in her life. I remember it was such an emotional night watching that. And it was such a landmark moment for her. And it's just, it's an amazing thing. I don't know what it is. And maybe you have a theory on this, if it's just because of increased competitiveness. I definitely don't know any other period in my life when I would have been aware, like facially aware, and more so even the names of like so many Irish track and field athletes. Like it's just not even close. Like, and it's just, I don't know what that is. I don't know. Like, is it effective kind of media treatment? Is it just the performances? Is it a combination of things? But like, it is, as your point, like it is mad going into a competition where you're like, we're going to have like, not even the fact that you think there's going to be medals or whatever else. Like that might happen, it might not. But just that there's so many different things. You're like, oh, I know bits about this person at the very least. We have a sort of a relationship over championships. That it's like you kind of, and that is it's a mad advancement for the sport to have made in the general sense. Obviously, people like Ian, people like Carl Denny, all these guys, like they've been banging that drum for so many years. And it kind of now more people are on board than ever. But like it is mad where you're looking forward to it. I know as you're saying, it's somehow, it is definitely plugging a gap, a big old gaping hole in August. But at the same time, it is a really, it's a really meaningful event in of itself. I don't think it would be crowded out necessarily.
No, it wouldn't.
Like,
it's gone up in the priority lists
100%, like
considerably. And the other thing as well is that, like, while I mentioned 2024 there, that's only half the story really, because 2025 was such an amazing year for Irish athletics. Really, like the Kate O'Connor story is post Paris. As much as Paris is obviously a massive launch pad, last year was her breakout year. You think of somebody like Keane McPhillips, who's going to be a name that you'll be circling on the schedule when you look at it next week as well, after what he did in 2025. So it's just very, very exciting. And I think it's almost contagious, the level of interest that one athlete gives to another in terms of the country, because like you'll be sitting down to watch this from Monday week, and then like, I don't know, somebody could be out in a heat, one of the top class athletes, and you're like, oh my God, we've got like a dozen more of these people coming up over the next couple of days. If it was just one superstar, I think there'd be less of an interest. This is like a massive championships in terms of actually sticking with it for the whole 9 days or however long it lasts.
And you know what's really interesting? I don't know about you, but like I find, and I'm not like a regular Diamond League watcher, I'm not going to lie to you, like, but by championship to championship, it's even like it's mad how many. Like you're reading only a few weeks ago about like Josh Kerr breaking the mile record and all these guys, and Keely Hodgkinson and all those kind of standout British athletes, and then the Ingebrigtsens and all these different. I just feel we certainly from my there's just a breadth of the depth has kind of deepened somewhat in terms of the knowledge thing, that it'll even come to that case in the European Championships, I'm certain of it, where we'll be locked into events that have nothing at all to do with Irish athletes, which is even a further thing again. Like it's incredible. The
depth of knowledge has got to the point now where Irish people will sit down watching Kate O'Connor and the chest will just be pumped out watching her on the javelin, because we all know that that's her thing.
Yeah.
It's not just that she's good at heptathlon; it's that she's particularly good at javelin, and that'll be the moment that people will be paying closest attention to. So that's coming up after 9 o'clock with Ian O'Riordan. It's a tribute to another gold medal for Kate O'Connor, but it is of course going to veer into Birmingham the week after next as well. A lot this hour though is going to be focused on UEFA, and they've had a hell of a day, Eve. What are you telling us?
They have. So UEFA have announced that they will boycott all FIFA competitions if they go ahead with plans to seek private investment for its major competitions, which include the World Cup. After a meeting of all 55 member associations today, the governing body of European football announced that no UEFA national teams will participate in any FIFA competition for so long as these proposals remain alive, unless this proposal has been abandoned in its entirety and binding assurances have been given that FIFA will never again open its governance or competitions to private ownership. The statement continues saying that the moment external investors acquire ownership interest in FIFA, football changes forever. Commercial return becomes a permanent obligation, and that shareholder decisions are suddenly the priority at FIFA. They say the FIFA World Cup belongs to football, and that so long as Europe has a voice, it will never be for sale. Of course, the next major tournament UEFA can boycott is the 2027 Women's World Cup, which starts on June 24th next year. And as you mentioned, the Republic of Ireland are still in the process of qualifying for it. This is FIFA President Gianni Infantino giving his explanation for the controversial venture.
If and only if it is approved by the majority of our 211 member associations and the FIFA Council, it would be a FIFA-owned and controlled subsidiary consolidating FIFA's commercial and event operations. It would simply commercialize and organize all FIFA-owned competitions, along with sponsorship, broadcast licensing, and new venture for the benefit of FIFA's 211 member associations. However, unlocking previously uncaptured commercial value.
Interesting how UEFA managed to get everybody on side here, because we were speaking last night about Czechia, fluttering their eyes at Gianni Infantino's cash being waved in their faces. Wouldn't be particularly surprised if the FAI gave it a bit of thought. For cash purposes.
Yeah, but I mean, not to tie everything back, I mean, it did seem that a lot of the reason why Ireland may end up playing Israel later this year is due to, I suppose, the whatever the right down fair was like, UEFA will not be happy with this, or we will be accordingly.
UEFA are the real loss.
So I kind of think, well, I mean, obviously in that regard, UEFA is the thing, but I do feel that it's like, I don't want to assume what happened. I see all the thing coming out at the meeting. There was a good unified front, obviously. So, but I do suspect you'd want to have, you'd want to know what you're about if you're going to go against UEFA and every other country in the thing, or the vast majority of them. You're putting yourself in the firing line. So I don't know. Maybe there are some in there less convinced than others, but it's a bloody big statement.
I mean, if you had the likes of France or Spain or a big country coming out first and saying, yeah, we'll support that, I don't think the likes of Czechia or, say, Ireland would kind of go against that.
No. But they need to understand that their vote counts just the same. Just like, Montserrat and whoever else seems to be keeping Gianni Infantino afloat in his presidency. What do we think is actually going to happen here then? For me, this is something that's going to lead to Gianni Infantino getting a little bit worried about his own position of power. This FIFA Forward enterprise is going to be shelved, and then that'll be the end of it.
Maybe. Yeah, it'll be quite the climb down for him.
Well, what's the alternative move here?
No, I get you. I mean, he's not going to fire away.
He's got to climb down, consolidate, and ensure that he doesn't screw up the presidential vote next March. Because this could become such a disaster for him that there could be a proper push against Infantino where he actually loses his job. So he's trying to expand as an individual. He's trying to become, an even bigger kind of influence in the world as a businessman and as a commissioner. But if this goes so badly south for him, he'll actually end up with nothing, not even the FIFA presidency. Like, there's reports today that Nasser Al-Khelaifi is launching a potential push when it comes to becoming the next FIFA president. Now, that's now a conversation, unless he climbs down soon and consolidates his political position.
Is there any chance he's already climbed too far? I mean, they've threatened to boycott your competition. I mean, I know it's kind of an easier said when it's probably like just the goods under 4 years away for the Men's World Cup, which would be the biggest money spinner of the lot. Like,
yeah.
But I would say, we were talking last night about Icarus, this is pretty, he's getting singed, you know. I don't know if it's kind of like, for the Al-Khelaifi thing, like if, like, is he locked, and I know it's not saying, but like theoretically, like, is that him locked in now that he'll go against it? Do you reckon they can turn it around in enough time that they kind of get the support necessary? Maybe not. Maybe it's still too soon and he still has a strong enough power base. But even to your point, the sheer fact that it's a conversation, when like a month ago it was like, this guy's here for another 4 years or whatever, 5 years.
It could be a complete disaster for him. Also, if he does climb down, how does he do it? Like, what would his BFF Donald Trump think of a full and frank apology from someone like Gianni Infantino? He would probably consider him a weak individual for doing something. And this was essentially a power grab, a greater power grab from Infantino. And his buddies on the padded seats won't be too impressed with an apologetic version of him.
No, and I suppose even if he does back down in order to stay in power for however long that would be, he's instantly far weaker than he would have been a month ago. And what this all does kind of remind me of is the Super League from kind of 2021 or whatever it was, that eventually did fall to the wayside. But
it's still going, or like Real Madrid's still in it or something.
Well, they're kind of clutching on. But it's still kind of been reinvented in little small ways. We have now the league formats of the 3 European competitions. You have something like the Club World Cup. It's kind of still there or the idea of it is still kind of lived on. In the very cynical viewing of this is where Infantino kind of steps back from these proposals, but then does it, I don't know, quieter in a smaller way. How this organisation FEE or whatever he's calling it will exist in some other form, because like investors have been lined up. He obviously had been talking to, I think, JP Morgan. Josh Kushner obviously has links to the Trump family. So this has been in the shadows being developed for quite a while. I don't know if he expected the immediate and very strong pushback from UEFA, but probably he wasn't expecting it to be so strong so immediately.
No.
There's a great the Robert Caro books on like this 4-series book on Lyndon Johnson, and he has a great.
Have you read them?
Yeah. Well, I'm halfway through the 4th.
Wow.
But no, it's great. It's fantastic. It's not a short.
That's a flex.
It's not a flex.
That's
There's
like
a really
40,000 pages.
There's a really good quote in there that he kind of has through the whole thing, where it's like about effectively, I might be paraphrasing, but like power doesn't corrupt, it reveals.
Mm-hmm.
And I know last night we were talking about it, like my gut feeling was, well, if Gianni Infantino's doing this, he must feel like he has a pretty good hold of doing it. He must feel like he has all the boxes checked, and he's confident he can get this through. And now, I mean, in this scenario, unless this is something he really bargained for, it really thinks that he's kind of had his pants pulled down, and it's like, oh man, you got way ahead of your station. It's like you thought you felt invincible after the last while, and now it's kind of, again, it's not like he decided on Monday he was going to do this and it comes out on Tuesday, but the hubris is something else, and now it's a case of it could be his undoing.
Are there many parallels between Lyndon B. Johnson and Gianni Infantino?
Far smarter man. A deviant in certain ways, in his own ways, but a very smart man.
You're talking about Lyndon Johnson here.
Yeah.
So just to clarify.
No.
Gianni Infantino, such behaviour. Right, on to tonight's fixtures in Europe, Eve. Some Irish interest.
Yeah, lots actually. So there's 3 League of Ireland teams hoping to secure a place in the 3rd qualifying round of the Conference League today. So Shelbourne have officially guaranteed their place with a victory over Estonian side Kalju over 2 legs. John Russell's men had won the first leg at Tolka Park last week by 5-2, and despite losing 2-1 away from home tonight, they had already done enough to qualify. So they're now eyeing up a huge tie against Dutch giants Ajax, who have just kicked off their 2nd qualifying round tie in the last few minutes, but they lead from the first leg 4-1. Elsewhere, it's half-time at the Brandywell for Derry City against Croatian side Rijeka, and Tiernan Lynch's men came into tonight's game trailing 1-0, and they're already 1-0 down at half-time in this 2nd leg. They had dropped down into the Conference League qualifiers from the Europa League after losing against Siska Sofia by 5-3 on aggregate. And then the final game of the night sees Bohemians take on Balkini in Kosovo. That game kicked off at 7 o'clock this evening, and Bohemians are already 1-0 down, so that tie is now levelled at 2-2. They had come into the game with a 2-1 advantage after last week's first leg at Dalymount. So it's been a bit of a mixed bag tonight.
Okay, loads happening there. On to the Premier League then. Big departure at Newcastle.
Yeah, so Eddie Howe has left his role as Newcastle head coach after nearly 5 years in charge. It's understood the decision had been taken following discussions with the club's hierarchy over the last 48 hours. The Magpies have already had a challenging summer after the sales of top players Sandro Tonali and Anthony Gordon. Matthias Isela, Al Hilal's coach, is reported as being Howe's likely successor. Keith Tracy, who played under Eddie Howe at Burnley, was speaking on Off the Ball Breakfast this morning about the news.
I find the timing is very strange. I mean, at the end of last season, surely he thought, I'm burnt out here, I need a break, and you go and speak to the big wigs from then. You don't get the pre-season underway and then a week into it go, do you know what, I'm shattered, I'm going to step away here. I'd be surprised if there's not a little bit more to that story that comes out over the next weeks or months or whatever it may be. But yeah, burnout is one of these things. We've seen it with Klopp, we've seen it with Pep, and now we've seen it with Eddie Howe. And hopefully we'll see him back, because we didn't get on personally eye to eye. We didn't see eye to eye personally, but he is a very good coach. He's a fairly nice fella, and he did try and do his best for me. So there's absolutely no smugness or anything here thinking he hasn't got a job now. Brilliant. I feel for him, and hopefully we see him back soon.
Yeah, Keith Tracy there. We'll have more on Newcastle after 9 o'clock tonight on the show. And just to let you know that Bohemians have equalised on the night against Balkany 3-2. Bows lead on aggregate now. Douglas James Taylor has just put a penalty past the host tonight. So 1-1 on the night, Bows up 3-2. Now, turning to Gaelic games, and we've heard from Oisin Mullen.
We have. So Mullen has confirmed that he spoke with Mayo manager Andy Moran about the possibility of returning for the All-Ireland final. 26-year-old Mullen was named Young Footballer of the Year back in 2020 and 2021 before joining AFL side Geelong Cats in 2023. He spoke about the celebrations and his conversation with Moran to Australian network Channel 7.
It was massive. It's been 75 years since they won it. So there's been so many finals Mayo have played and not managed to go over the line. So to finally get it done. Like, the whole county's gone into lockdown. The celebrations are off the charts. It looks unbelievable.
Did they try and get you back to play?
I did have a chat with the coach back home, and obviously Chris here, but like, obviously in the off-season, Geelong gave me an extended period at home, and I was fortunate that Mayo let me join them to train in the off-season as well, so there was that connection there. So the coach just touched base with me from home and had a chat with Scotty and things, but obviously the circumstances around where we are in the ladder here and the time of season, it just didn't work out. So yeah, I was just excited watching on from here and see the boys get the result and get it done.
This would have been extraordinary. We knew this from over the course of the weekend when the Geelong Cats coach came out and said that he was contacted by Mayo, and it just couldn't happen because of their pre-season specifications. Imagine if that had been announced. Like,
what would your reaction have been? I mean, obviously you know what happens now, but would it have worried you?
Yeah, probably would have, to be honest. He's an amazing player. Amazing player.
Do you think it's possible that you could go back in? Granted, he's playing like no Gaelic football.
I said this on Monday night. I think it would have been an impact sub.
Okay.
I think that's what the role would have been, and it definitely would have given Kerry something extra to think about. It turns out they already had plenty to think about anyway. Too much on their plate.
I mean, I know it was different, obviously, but I mean, Hesson returning for the Leinster final for Westmeath was kind of similar, even just for the vibes. It would give the vibes. That's exactly it.
Give us the latest then on Waterford.
Yep, so Stephen Mlumphy has been appointed as manager of the Waterford Senior Hurlers. The former Kerry manager has been given a 3-year term, subject to ratification at the next county board meeting. Waterford finished 4th in this year's Munster Championship, and they had last made it to the All-Ireland quarterfinals in 2021. Mlumphy takes over from Peter Queally, who left his role after 2 years in June.
And then finally, it is day one of the Women's Open.
It is, and it was a tough start for the Irish golfers in Royal Lytham and St Anne's on day one of the Open. Lauren Walsh began her day with 2 birdies in the first 6 holes to put herself within touching distance of the lead, but 4 bogeys and 1 double bogey on the back 9 meant she finished her first round on 4 over. Anna Foster is tied in 120th position after finishing on 5 over par, while Leona Maguire went into this major needing a big result to automatically qualify for the Solheim Cup. She's currently not in the top 6 of the world rankings. She is on the final hole and she's currently 2 over par. Maguire, who has 3 Solheim Cup wins, is likely to pick up one of the wildcard positions even if she misses out on automatic qualification.
Nice one. EveConway, thank you very much for Thursday night's news round. Rubber Ducky's been in touch on YouTube to say the end of the World Cup was always coming when Panini lost the rights to the sticker album. Our number is 0879 180 180. We're going to have Tariq Panja of the New York Times and Gavin Cooney of the Irish Times with us after the break. And just to let you know, the news round is brought to you by Viagra Connect. 50mg film-coated tablets contain sildenafil for adult men with erectile dysfunction. Maximum dosage 150ml tablet per day. Always read the label. Buy online at viagraconnect.ie, subject to suitability following pharmacist consultation. Time for the cash machine.
News Talk Summer Cash Machine.
The cash machine has been reloaded and there's going to be another guaranteed winner. The number you need to know is 303.